Penny, can you tell us the difference, what you feel the difference is between a goal and a project?
So, I mean, that's really interesting because I was about to say, well, a project is several things, or it might be kind of a collection of things that might involve several goals. But actually, I have a term that I like to call penny projects, which are kind of individual goals, actually, around like, I want to complete this, or I want to write that. And I actually use that term quite a lot, actually, because I quite like the idea of a project. And so I think actually the two terms are probably interchangeable. And I think when we're talking about project managers, so people that work as project managers, whether they're in engineering or in change management, actually that's what they're doing, aren't they? They're managing a series of small underpinning goals for other people. So, Christy, I had not ever considered it until that moment, but actually, I think those terms can be interchangeable. And I think actually, if project works for people, I think that's a really nice way to put it. It's certainly a term I hadn't realised until you said then that I used for myself. So yeah, personal projects, I'm all for them.
Here's an interesting take on that. And Christy and I have talked about this, and we've seen this in some of the students as well. One of the things that we did with the Best Suite was we tried to make it as flexible as possible. And so for some people, let's say, painting a bedroom is a goal that they have. It's something that they want to accomplish, and that sort of thing. And so in their minds, that's a goal. For me, that's just a weekend project. I don't think of that as a goal. And so what we wanted to do at Best as we were sort of creating the tools and then integrating the tools was to give people that flexibility, because I don't want to have to think through all the smart steps for painting my bedroom. But if I'm doing a project, it's more like a checklist to me. So mentally, there's a mindset shift, I think, in the way in which some people think about things. And so to provide the option of the ability to do a goal and put it in the Reach My Goals tool, or the ability to take the exact same thing and apply it to complete my to-dos, and it's just a project that you accomplish. It's still an accomplishment, but I think there's a mindset or a shift in some people's minds in terms of that distinction. And we wanted to be aware of that, and we wanted to be respectful of that, because I'm afraid that if someone sees doing the, painting the bedroom as a project and not as a goal, they're never going to, put it in Reach My Goals. So we wanted to give them a way of looking at it from their own perspective. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I really like that. It's and it also makes me think perhaps what I said earlier about distinctions between goals and maybe the steps towards and the SMART objectives, or whatever, targets or objectives. That the goal might not be to paint the room. The goal might be to have a beautiful bedroom, or to have a really nice environment that makes and that. Whereas the project, one of the underpinning steps towards getting to that wider goal might be to paint it, might be to then get some more furniture, might be to then do this, do that. So I guess it's perhaps another way to think of it as being kind of some of those building blocks that you kind of you complete and you fill up during the on the way towards achieving this wider goal. And I think it just gives you that ability for the goal to be a bit more open-ended, because it's not for me to say when you feel that you've got that beautiful space that you're living in. It's for you to, you'll know that, and maybe completing the painting project might be one part of it, but actually there might be other steps that need to happen after that, and it kind of gives you that that ability to carry those, to celebrate that, but never dismiss the value of a good project, Michelle. So if you manage to get a room painted in a weekend, that is a heck of a goal achieved. I think I've got one I've been waiting for about 6 years. So. Absolutely. And I think you've raised a really important point that we can really get bogged down sometimes in the language that we use. I've talked a lot with other colleagues about this, about how your goal might be my target, might be this, that, and actually, like you say, you need that flexibility for people to be able to use the language that makes sense for them, and that suits them and makes them feel like they're accomplishing and going in the right direction, whatever you call them. So, like I say, there's so many different words, and I think we've spent a huge amount of time in our industry debating all of those different terms, but actually we've got a pretty clear through flow now. We think we've got the overarching goals, we've got small, medium term or shorter term goals, and we've got objectives that we're taking towards meeting those. We've got steps, and often, like Lisa was saying, those things might be SMART They might be, achievable, realistic, action, all those things they need to be. But actually, the blue sky thinking, we need to keep that. I think we need to always just be headed towards whatever's important for the person, and that can move. So yeah, so thank you, Christy. That was a really good question.